Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Spider-Man retro card back. Shocker. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we continue looking at this Spider-Man retro card back wave, and in front of me I have saved Shocker for last for a very specific reason, because Shocker was the very first Marvel Legend I ever reviewed on this channel over 5 years ago. Yes, this original version of Shocker was the first figure I ever reviewed, and now we are at the time where we're getting a second one. So yeah, I was going to play a clip of that first review, but it's too cringeworthy. But if you do want to watch that review, I'll put the link in the description. I even did a full Who Is He segment on Shocker. So if you want to learn more about his origins, go and watch that video I did over 5 years ago. Well, nearly 5 years ago, but yeah, look at that. There you go. So we've come full circle, people, and this Shocker looks very nice. This time around, he actually does have the sort of sculpted quilt design on his uniform, but it's not painted in black. So we'll talk about that in a second, but it does come with alternative sort of vibration gauntlets, which he uses for his power, and then those effect pieces that we have been seeing for many years, but they do work. But yes, Shocker on this packaging, beautiful. Give me all of the rose gallery on this card back. You know the score. It says Vibro Shock Gauntlets there, and then there's the little image. Spin it round to the back. Then we're getting a list of all the other figures in this retro Spider-Man wave. Go and check out the playlist, as I have already reviewed them all on the channel. Check out the videos tab. And then, as always, we get a little write-up that reads, Shocker's vibro-units allow him to blast through solid metal or hurl long-range vibrational punches, but they're yet to help him defeat his eternal nemesis, the amazing Spider-Man. So yeah, as I said there, Shocker's got a bit of sentimental value to me, just in regards to this channel. But yeah, we've come full circle, people. Let's open them up. So here we have the Shocker out of the packaging with all of his accessories in that quilted suit. And just like the previous figures in this retro line, they're very close to being accurate representations of what we've seen from that 90s animated show, as the Shocker was wearing this uniform with the trunks and sort of one piece. But I would say it was a little bit darker, and I would love to see those quilted sort of sculpted lines painted black. Really would make Shocker pop, and that's my mind's eye version of Shocker. But again, it's not meant to be 100% accurate to that show. It's just an homage and a wink and nod to the audience, and it's close enough. But we do get those effect pieces that we got with the previous Shocker all those years ago, and they don't 100% represent his abilities, but they're close enough. They still bring the shelf to life a little bit. But what's interesting, instead of interchangeable hands, we've got full-on interchangeable wrists, and the reason they've done this is so his gauntlets remain intact, and it probably will look better on display. So I do appreciate when they go and do stuff like that, but we shall see when we zoom in. And let's do that now. Starting up top at this Emotionless face sculpt, I do quite like it. Even though it's a man behind a mask, it still cuts a nice silhouette. Those eyes are nice, and you can sort of see where the nose are and the cheekbones. So again, cuts a very nice silhouette for an Emotionless mask. But what's important about this Shocker is that, look at those diamonds. That quilted lines are all sculpted onto the body of the figure, and that is the most sort of defining feature of the Shocker's uniform, is those sort of quilted diamonds. And look at that, Hasbro have done all the hard work and actually sculpted them all in. On all of the yellow sort of mustardy elements of this figure, they have sculpted in those quilted lines, and it really does make a difference. Like, it looks great. I would have loved to have seen them go that extra step more and like paint them black. I really do think that would make this figure pop and make it look really good. I will be curious to see if customizers do that, maybe paint them in or maybe add some dark wash to really make them pop. But yeah, Hasbro have done the hard work. They're sculpted in there, and it's a new body as well. Like, look at this. No pins on the elbows. Move down, no pins on the knees. Like, this is a brand new sculpted body. They had to, because you've obviously got these interchangeable wrists that we'll look at in a minute. But all the brown uniform, as I said, this one piece, this is all, this doesn't have any of the sculpted quilted pattern on, as you would expect. Only the yellow does, so there is a nice difference between the two. It is like he's wearing a uniform on top of the quilt. And even on the lines down on the arms and on the legs, that is flat against the quilted yellow. And yeah, again, looked really good. I just would have loved to have seen those lines black. I do think it would have made a difference. The gauntlets are a nice sort of chromy gunmetal, matches the belt and it matches the sort of cuffs of the boots as well. So nice to see all of them matching. I know the previous shocker didn't really have those matching elements, but yeah, they're a nice glossy sort of silver as well. Not really metallicized, you know, it doesn't have those swirls and curls. It just looks really nice and smart. So yeah, I like that a lot. And yeah, just again, this is my mind's eye shocker. I just want to see those quilted, sculpted lines in black. But as I said, pinless. Let me zoom out a little bit. So as I said, pinless, double joints, brand new, sculpted body. Look at that. So there's the double joints there. Really nice. Double joints on the knees. Really nice. So that's really good. There is a boot swivel as well at the bottom of that cuff. There is still a thigh cut up here as well. So you can swivel it there. There is a waist swivel hidden under the belt. So there you go, no problem at all. As well as the ab crunch you can see. So there you go. That's pretty good ab crunch, right? He's doing a Bruce Forsyth there. That is a very UK reference, but you know what I'm talking about. Back as well. That is really good back. Really good. Head, lots of movement up, down, side to side. Not so much any pivot, but still. Arms will go all the way up, all the way around. Like for a new body, for a new pinless, double jointed body, this aesthetically looks very pleasing, especially without the pins. And I do like the colours. I would have just liked to have seen those lines black, but at least those lines are there. So paying close attention now to these wrist gauntlet pieces, there is a swivel here at the bottom of the gauntlet. That is where you get your swivel, and that is there. And it does look like he's gripping onto these gauntlets. This is where all his power comes from. This is why he has to wear this quilted suit, so it sort of doesn't damage him when he's doing his sort of vibration blast, if you will. The shocker, after all. But yeah, these come off and we can replace them. So we've got these fisted pieces where you can see he's gripping onto the gauntlet, and that works really well, but we can swap them out. I'm assuming the wrist will just come off here. So there you go, comes off. There's a peg, and let's put the other one on, make sure I get the right hand, and they just plug back on there, and there you go. That was as simple as that. And now we have more of an open palm sort of grip for the gauntlet, and you can see the handle. Let me swap the other one. There you go. So you get one full set of open grip and then a tighted fisted hand as well. So you do have options, and they should go nice with these next accessories, which are these effect pieces, which we have seen with Marvel Legends many, many times over the years. This time they are in like an orangey yellow to match the shocker, and they are translucent, so it does hit the light and sort of glimmer a little bit. And there is no rules to these. I have literally just squashed it onto the wrist. Like literally there's a hole. You can sort of see where it's meant to hook around the wrist. But because the shocker's gauntlets are too thick, there is no rules. You just literally shove it on there and it will stay in place. But as I said, it does create a more dynamic pose for the shocker on the shelf, especially if you're getting posed up like he's all leaning down, shocking. Yeah, there you go. The shocker, and again, stuff like this does bring the shelf to life a little bit, and I like when you can do that. It may not be 100% accurate to what we're used to seeing on screen, but it's close enough for figure form. And yeah, there you go. So I like those options. And of course, here we have our straight up comparison of the shocker. Now, this previous shocker was more of a modernized version of the shocker, especially in regards to uniform, but also in regards to the character as well. He was part of the Superior Foes of Spider-Man. There was even a version of this shocker that was a variant that had the Thunderbolts logo here on the waist. My one doesn't. But yeah, this shocker was nice. Don't get me wrong, it's held strong on the shelf, but I do think my mind's eye of shocker does lean towards this sort of one-piece uniform where there's more yellow and the quilted uniform is seen a little bit more. Yeah, and there's no doubting aesthetically this new retro version beats out the old Bucky Cat body. 2022 is the year that this body mold gets retired after all. But I do like how these lines are painted on, but again, aesthetically it looks better that they're sculpted on. And you can see them when the light hits it, but I still would have liked to have seen an amalgamation of them both where these sculpted lines were painted black. I do think it would have made it pop. That is my mind's eye of shocker. But still, comparing the two, it is definitely a case of this new retro one is better. Look, no pins compared to pins. This one is like more broader at the chest, a little bit more imposing. Even the facial expression is a little bit more serious. He's got like a wonky eye there. Again, the gunmetal grey didn't really match the flat grey of the knees on here, where this time you've got the chrome matching the belt, the cuffs and the gauntlets. Like, there is no doubt that this new shocker is a better shocker, but I still like the previous one, and it'll find a place on the shelf with the Superior Foes. But yeah, this new shocker is the Spider-Man shocker for the shelf. As I said, the pinless, just this aesthetically, it's so much better. Just again, Paint those lines, Hasbro. But it's too late now. He's here in the collection, and he still looks good. No doubts, no doubts. And as you can see, they're about the same size as well. But you let me know in the comments below, which Shocker do you prefer? You may actually prefer the modern uniform. Always curious to hear your thoughts. Do you prefer the retro version or the previous? Here we have Shocker compared to the other villains in this second wave of Spider-Man retro figures with Hammerhead and the Hobgoblin, of course. Please do go and check out my reviews for all of these on the channel right now. Check the videos tab or the playlists. And if you do, you will also see reviews for the other characters in this wave, which are all Spider-Man, of course. We've got the Spider Armor Mark 1, the Symbiote Suit Spider-Man, and then the Ben Reilly Spider-Man. And again, this is such a good wave of figures. Here we have Shocker compared to the OG Retro Spider-Man and of course Pizza Spider-Man. Here we have the Retro Green Goblin and Tombstone. Here we have Venom and Carnage. Some more random Spider-Man villains. We got the Retro Kingpin, a Kit Bash version of Norman Osborn and Taskmaster. Here we have Spider-Man UK and Kane. Here we have Gwen Stacy, Peter Parker and Black Cat. For some other non-Spidey comic characters, here we have the 80th Captain America and the brand new Walmart exclusive Doctor Strange. And then last but certainly not least, here we have the Shocker compared to Captain Britain and Hellfire Hank. So, final thoughts, this is a great Shocker figure. Undoubtedly, it's an upgrade to the previous version. This is on a brand new pinless body mold, which is just so much more pleasing aesthetically on a shelf when you don't see those pins. He's much broader as well, and of course, those quilted lines are sculpted on, and he's wearing the uniform from the animated show. I just can't help but want those quilted lines painted black or a dark wash or something, because when I close my eyes and think about the Shocker, I want my mind's eye version of these characters on the shelf. The Shocker has those quilted lines in black, so I can't help but want that. So again, an amalgamation of this and the previous one would have been nice, but again, this is still undoubtedly the better version, and again, maybe a customizer will do it and I'll end up thinking it doesn't even look that good, so maybe this is the better version of the Shocker. Who knows? You let me know your thoughts in the comments below, as always. Are you like me? Do you wish you would have got those quilted lines just painted black, or are you happy with what it is, or do you just prefer the previous version of the Shocker? Always curious to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below, and if you like Marvel Legends, then trust me, you're in the right place. 2022, we started off strong. Go and check out the videos tab, find the playlist, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. You can also hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and I'm on Twitter as well at Dan Who Reviews. Tweet me, and as always, my name is Dan W, and I will of course see you on the next one.